Exercise 3, multiplying algebraic expressions. Distributive property involves the operation of multiplication. When we have only numbers involved in the distributive property, you can apply the distributive property, or you can simply follow order of operations. If I use the distributive property here, I'm going to distribute the 4 to each one of these terms. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 5 is 20, and 12 plus 20 is 32. When it's only numbers, it's probably easier just to follow order of operations. 3 plus 5, do what's in parentheses first, is 8, and then 4 times 8 also equals 32, so you can do that either way. When it is variables, now you need to use the distributive property. I'm going to take A, I'm going to distribute it through to both of these two terms. A times B is AB, A times C is AC, no like terms, so we cannot go any further. Take X here, distribute it through, X times X, and X times Y. X times X is X squared, X times Y is XY, no like terms, cannot simplify any further. FOIL method. FOIL method is used to multiply two binomials together. The acronym FOIL, F stands for first, O stands for outer, I stands for inner, and L stands for last. That acronym simply helps us keep things in order when we are foiling. Basically, foiling is just using the distributive property twice. In this case, I would need to distribute A to everything in the second set of parentheses and B to everything. To help keep that straight, we have the acronym FOIL to help us remember. First means multiply the first two terms. That's distributing A to the C. We get AC. Outer. Take the A, distribute it to the D. A times D is AD. I for inner. The inside terms. Take B, distribute it to C. B times C is just BC. And finally, L is last. Take that B and distribute it to the last term. B times D is BD. There are no like terms, so we cannot go any further. Foiling here. Take X times X. First times first, X squared. Outer, X times negative 4, negative 4X. Inner, 3 times X is 3X. And last, take 3 times negative 4, it's negative 12. Now here we do have some like terms we can add. Our X terms we can add to one another. So we have X squared. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative X. And we have a minus 12. And we cannot go any further then because there are no other like terms. Other multiplication methods for polynomials. A binomial squared. Very common mistake that students make is they look at this and they think, well, that's just X squared minus 36. I could just square each individual thing inside. That property of squaring everything inside only holds true when we are talking about multiplication or division inside the parentheses. If we have addition or subtraction or multiple terms, we cannot simply square everything inside. X minus 6 squared means we need to take X minus 6 times X minus 6. Foil that out. First, X times X. Outer, X times negative 6. Inner, negative 6 times X. Last, negative 6 times negative 6 is 36. Add like terms. X terms, negative 6 minus 6 is negative 12X plus 36. A binomial cubed. A minus B times A minus B times A minus B. When you go to multiply this out, you need to pick two of the binomials, foil them together, and leave the third one alone. So I'm going to leave this A minus B alone out front here, and I'm going to foil these two together. First, A times A. Outer, A times negative B. Inner, A times negative B. Last, negative B times negative B is B squared. Simplify. So like terms where I just foiled out, we get A squared minus 2ab plus b squared. From here now, we need to take and we need to distribute this a through to all three terms in the second set of parentheses. So I need to take a times a squared, a times negative 2ab, and a times b squared. When we do that, a times a squared is a cubed, a times negative 2ab is negative 2a squared b, a times b squared is ab squared. Now I need to do the same thing with this negative b. I need to take that times each of the three terms in that parenthesis. So distribute it to each one of those. Negative b times a squared minus a squared b. Negative b times negative 2ab gives us positive 2ab squared. And negative b times b squared gives us negative b cubed. Simplify, we get a cubed minus 3a squared b plus 3ab squared minus b cubed. So a lengthy problem in that it takes multiple steps, but the only operations we're doing are multiplication, which you know how to do, distributive property, which you know how to do, foiling, which you know how to do, and adding and subtracting like terms, which you know how to do. So take all of those individual things, put them together, and this should be a problem that you are able to handle.